Greetings, Patrick here, have Cheetah Will View, and welcome to the fifth and final day of Mark Polonia Film Week. All right, it's been a lot of fun cranking these out, and I have an announcement at the end of the video as well. Pretty exciting news. Mark Polonia Week, we did it before a couple of years ago. Me and Steven from House of Horrors. I was joined by my fellow compadre from the Midnight Society, aka Al Lucard, the Bat. We also did some Polonia films. We did it a couple years ago, and then this year I found out that he was going to be the guest of honor at Grossfest 2025 in Pittsburgh. The Gross Brothers, their annual convention, going for 2 days. 2 days this year, pretty awesome. So I thought, you know what can I do as an outsider to help chip in and help promote the show a little bit? And I said, well, why not do Mark Polonia Week and do before the convention goes? So I said, okay, that'll be a good idea. So that's what we're doing. So this is the last film that we're going to be doing, and wow, I gotta tell you, I picked this one. This one I knew I was getting, and I knew I was, because I wanted to talk about this a little bit in depth. So the last movie that we're covering is, I know a lot of you guys are already shaking your head, going like, "Oh no, not again!" But wait, just wait. There's two reasons why I did it. So the film that we're going to close out on is the Amityville Exorcism, or Amityville Exorcism. Came out in 2017 and written by Billy D'Amato and directed by Mark Polonia. And of course, this one has a lot of Polonia Pals in it, including James Careless, who we get absolutely joy out of when he out of Sharkestein. He wears the sideways baseball cap. One of the funniest things you'll ever see in a Mark Polonia movie. But the film also stars Marie DiLorenzo as Amy Duquesne. James Careless plays her father, Jeremy Duquesne. We also have Steve Desparia playing Father Jones. Ken Van Zant has a cameo appearance as Charles Humes. Titus Himmelberger also has a cameo as a photographer. And Jeff Kirkendall is Father Benna. So I picked this one out for two reasons. One was just because you have to. So one of the constants about Mark Polonia films are he films in his hometown, and more often than not, he uses his home as the house for the movie he's filming. So if you watch a lot of his films, you'll notice the house as a star in a lot of his films. But he also has a Kia. He has a Kia, lime green Kia, that is just as big as a star as any of the Polonia Pals. In fact, the car is a Polonia Pal. In fact, you look for the car on all his movies, right? So you look for it. Oh, there it is right there. So it's a lot of fun to spot the Kia. Now, since this film has come out, in fact, I think actually during the first Mark Polonia Week, we found out that he had actually sold the car. Yeah, he had actually sold the car. So that's sort of sad, but still, there's still plenty of films out there where if you look real carefully, you'll see a certain green Kia. And the other reason I wanted to do this one is of Jeff Kirkendall, and this is Father Benna. This is a Father Benna movie. And this is a recurring character in a lot of his Mark Polonia's films, is Father Benna. He's appeared in many films as the character. Now, there's no continuity between the films and anything else. It's just that the character arrives in the middle of whatever it is that's happening. Most of the time, not good, and has to do with possession. And well, Amityville Exorcism, right? So the film basically has Father Benna hearing a death row inmate, Charles Humes, he's admitting to killing his family, and we see that. We see that he has gone by, he has killed his wife and his daughters, and during the death row, he's talking to Father Benna, and he's saying that, yeah, I did it. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I was possessed. I didn't want to do it. And Father Benna gives him his, his understanding and compassion. And Charles mentions that he worked on the original home, the original Amityville home, the one where the killings happened. And he took some lumber at the end of the job. He took some lumber, and he used it in various places. So the storyline is basically the wood that he took from the original Amityville house is possessed by the devil. And so Father Benna sets on a mission to recover those pieces, but he's also a little leery because his brother wanted him to help him to do the exorcism of this house, and he didn't go, and his brother ended up doing the exorcism, but dying dying as well, sort of like the Exorcist, right? So, but he ever since then he's been on a mission, and now he has another mission. He has to find and recover this wood. And meanwhile, we see Jeremy Duquesne and Amy Duquesne, and they are, hell, even if they didn't have anything possessed, even if they weren't possessed or had evil wood or what have you, the house is still, that family is still racked by hell. Jeremy is a raging alcoholic. His daughter is very resentful, and they barely can coexist underneath the same roof. And we see this. We see that Jeremy is just he sort of just want him to go around and just, hey, Jeremy, man, if you're gonna do this, man, do it quicker. You feel really bad. You feel bad for him, because it's like something's really inside him that's causing this. And so Father Benna reaches out to them and says, hey, I want to talk to you about what's going on in your house, but they don't want to hear it. Amy's too busy hanging out with her boyfriend, and so Robbie, and so she's got her own thing going on, and she also knows that her dad, when he gets drunk, he'll sometimes hit her, but she's getting a little old for that, and so he has to. Jeremy has to be a little bit more careful about those sort of things. Well, Father Benna finally gets to the house, and we see that Amy, because of her hatred toward her father, is now open to be possessed, and that's what happens to her. So she becomes possessed, and you see these different figures and lights, and there's a demon in red, and so he possesses her and gets her to do things, and Father Benna is trying to help them out, and it leads to the inevitable end, the clash of the titans. Hey, I just got that in there. Clash of the titans between Amy, who's possessed, and with her demon. And Father Benna fights like hell for her, but we know something that he doesn't. He can't win. He can't win. He can exercise her all right, but she's killed 3 people. So it's a pariah victory. I mean, yes, he frees her of the evil spirit, but just like Charles Humes, it's too late to save him because she'll most likely they're not being arrested for murder. But Father Benna also finds out too that his work is not done. As he goes to get the wood from the basement of the Duquesne house, he sees a piece of paper or a work order from Charles Hume, and he had actually used a lot of the lumber on a lot of different houses in town. So Father Benna's work has just begun, and while he goes and tries to save his families, the real tragedy is lying in the Duquesne house, where we don't know what's going to happen to the father, who we probably know is not going to make it. And we know damn sure the daughter's not going to make it. We know that she's going to end up facing justice. All right. man, I got to tell you, this is a for a possession movie. And yes, there's some usual, the gimmicks, the special effects, which was done by Anthony Polonia at this time. Um, yeah, it shows, the budget shows, but I think if you strip away the flashy whites and all that, if you just concentrated on just the story itself and maybe the man in red, um, man, this is a pretty sad movie, to tell you the truth. And now I'm used to we're all used to seeing Mark Polonia a lot of these, and he's not the only one guilty of this, of course, but a lot of independent filmmakers, they always leave room for a sequel, right? They always in the hope that the movie they put out will suddenly get a pop and get a hit, and they'll make enough money for a sequel. Um, Boy, I tell you, I was really surprised by this one. Um, I mean, is it outstanding? No, but it's solid. I would have done a little bit. I probably would have changed things around on a couple of things. Um, but then again, I sort of understand it. I do think that Maria De Lorenzo is a fine actress, but I believe that she was a little old for the part. She could have, maybe if they would have established her more as a college student or just like a first year resident, doing something. She just looked a little old for the part of the daughter. But, and that's probably my only one little nitpick. I think that she's a fine actress. And, because I tell you what, all the actors in this, they really this is one of the best acted movies I've seen, and I've seen two of them this week. Once Upon a Time in Amityville, and now Amityville Exorcism. Maybe that's the secret to Mark's movies. Maybe it's all the movies that he's done with Exorcism in it or Amityville in it is but Jeff Kirkendall was very strong as Father Benna. And sometimes he comes in for Father Benna comes in for fun, but this time this is a straight film. This is a straight horror film. This is a horror film. This is not a horror comedy or anything else like that. Tongue in cheek or anything. No, Mark has played it straight. The model wrote a solid screenplay, and they play it straight. I got to tell you, it was a big surprise, and it sort of makes you wonder why this isn't every movie that you get from Mark, because his movies are so uneven in that respect. Some movies are just absolutely just hell no, and then all of a sudden you get surprised with something like the two Amityville films that we reviewed this week, and all of a sudden you go like, man, yeah, I watch this, I buy this. Um, so I don't know. It would be interesting to ask questions, but maybe someone on the panel will. Um, my good news is that we are going to have a guest for the week of Mark Polonia films, and we are going to have Jeff Kirkendall himself on Sunday, the July 27th at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. I know, right? We're gonna have Jeff. We might have him. We should probably have him hang over for the ISC show. But no, Jeff Kirkendall will be our special guest on a special 8 Questions With on July 27 at 6 p.m. I'll be making a banner for that here in a second. Um, but yeah, I can't wait. I've been wanting to talk to Jeff since I talked to him on, I think it was the 7th episode of the House of Horrors. I co-hosted with Steven, and we interviewed Jeff Kirkendall. And so I'm looking forward to talking with him again. And if you're watching this is the last day before Grossfest. Grossfest comes out tomorrow. So send pictures, take pictures, send videos. Let me know you guys are having a hell of a fun time. Someone bootlegged the panel for me. Maybe Tom and Tim can bootleg the panel and send me a copy. All right. Well, this has been a hell of a lot of fun. Thank you for watching the second semi-annual Mark Polonia Film Week. We had a lot of fun doing it, and who knows? Maybe we won't wait 2 years to do it again. Maybe we'll come back do it again next year. We'll see what you guys think. It'll all depend on you guys. If every video can get some views behind it, we'll come back and do it again next year. All right. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting the sub button, hit the notification bell, drop a comment. Let me know what you think of any movies with the word Amityville in it. Let me know what you think of any film with Mark Polonia's name on it. Have you ever gone for a ride in the Kia? Drop a line. All right. Thanks for watching, and have fun at Grossfest, everybody. Peace.